All melee weapons in Space Station 14 feature a range of 1.5 tiles. However, this can be very deceptive based off wide swing animations and the fact that left clicking is a little bit different than the way wide swinging works. Direct attacks allow you to actually get more range than normal. For example, if I right click this carp with any of these weapons, it looks like I should be able to hit it. You can even see like the tip of the spear going into the mob. If I get something like a glaive and wide swing, it was a little bit more clear that I'm not hitting it. But if I get something like a saber, well, it kind of looks like it's hitting it. But if I left click the face of the carp, I can actually hit it. And that can be a little confusing to understand. The hitboxes situation gets even more confusing when you actually use the visualizer. Like, I have this carp facing vertically on purpose, and now I can't left click it, but now I can right click it because my saber is within the 1.5 tile range and is just barely hitting the outer edge. But now on the dragon, I can't hit the center of the hurt box with the wide swing, but I can pixel hunt the edge of the sprite. So really, I think the conclusion overall is sometimes it's better to left click the sprite if it's standing still. Sometimes it's better to wide swing. Overall, the wide swinging is always going to be more accurate. You're never standing still fighting an enemy who's standing still. So having the actual physical model be able to hit the hurt box with your weapon just is more reliable overall. So if I move upwards on this sideways facing carp, so remember I can hit this one right in the face and even kill it if I left click. If I wide swing, I am unable to hit it entirely. If I go up to this carp here, its sprite is just a little bit further to the right, and I'm standing well over 1.5 tiles away. So the center is there, this would be 1.5, but I'm standing almost about 2 away. Not quite, just a little bit further than 2, and this is why it's precise to left click and right click. I can't hit it with the wide swing or the left click, but if I move up on the other carp that is the same distance into the wall as the previous carp, I can left click it again, but I can't wide swing it. So there's always a misconception that wide swinging has the same exact hitbox as the left click, but that is simply not true. I mean, you can visualize it right here. But if I go hit a mob that is much larger, the wide swing will still miss. But if I can aim towards its center with the wide swing, I will hit it. It's really, like, it's not quite just based off pixels, but if I left click the top left pixels of a space dragon, I will hit it. Obviously, in real gameplay, being this precise is super impractical because people are going to be moving. You can't really pixel hunt quite as easy as something like Space Station 13, where it's just like a click fest of who can hit who. So wide swings are way more reliable, just period. But I thought this is kind of like a fun trivia fact that in some situations, you actually can left click melee mobs further than you can wide swing them, even though that probably shouldn't be the case. I don't know the technical workings of it. I'm just showing the practicality of it in real gameplay. Onto the real topic of the video. Mobs all feature an attack range of 1 tile. However, remember, all melee weapons have an attack range of 1.5 tiles. So in any form of combat, if you're able to space a mob by greater than 1 tile, you can outrange them in melee. And it gets very specific. They seem to attack your center. So like if I were to get in attack range, let me just heal myself. If I get an attack range, it doesn't seem to be necessarily based off my sprite. Like I can't like rotate out of it necessarily. And there's like no like easy way to like cheese this. Like there, I'm standing sideways, but it's still hitting me directly. So there's no practical gameplay way of inching your pixels into the point to the mob misses. They just attack based off 1 tile. However, I'm well within attack range now to actually hit these mobs without them being able to hit me. And that is very important and very useful information to know. If a mob is running at the same speed as you, you can try to use that extra half a tile of advantage to actually hit them. So if I just run through this line of mobs, none of them can bite me because I'm not within 1 tile of them. However, I go through within the 1 tile range of them, the hitboxes are a little bit different per them. You can see the bites going off. And what's really probably the main point in this video, and one of the biggest misconceptions in melee combat against NPCs, is all melee mobs have a 30% chance to miss you only if you are moving. If you are standing still, they'll be guaranteed to hit you. And we can observe this if I just spawn a carp and I don't move at all. The carp will not miss any attacks at all, and I will just keep standing still to represent this. Something that's also noticeable with mobs is you will notice that every time they hit you, they will do this juke. However, they don't do this juke maneuver if you are actively running for them because they are in a chase mode. However, if I stop and let them bite me, they will bounce directly away from the angle they bit me. So if I get bit from the top right, they will kite top. If I get bit from the bottom, they will kite away. You can use this to try to understand how to kite away from a mob if you have the movement speed and the space to juke them. Mobs will always try to follow you in a direct pattern. If you have enough room to kite, you should consider trying to move in a circular / like square-like pattern in order to keep the mob at a distance over one tile away from you. Remember, mobs attack at a range of one tile. You attack at a range of 1.5. With wide swings, it's not quite easy to hit the 1.5, but it can be done. So we can abuse that fact and to try to melee a mob without them even having the chance of hitting this. We use the reference of a tile, such as this drain on the ground. We could try to go for a swing when they are just touching the tip of the tile, and I'm kiting through the corner here to get myself a reference of distance. So I'm going to go for the swing in one rotation. I missed. And this is fine. If you're not getting hit, you're not dying. There, I got the hit off, and the mob did take a swing. And I was able to end up hitting the mob enough times to that crit it without it even having a chance to bite me. I'll spawn another one to try to give a demonstration here. I kited obviously wrong there. But keep using the drain. Get it close, missed. Outside of my range, you want to get it on straightaways where you know it's going to be following your previous movement. And if you get used to this type of movement, not all mobs move quite like this. It's a bit of a skill ceiling thing. You can definitely melee mobs before they even get in your attack range. But remember, as I said, mobs have a 30% chance to miss you if you're just moving. So I'm just going to run in small circles, and you will see this carp will miss, as I'm getting very unlucky right now. It is not missing at all. There we go, there's a miss. You can hear when the misses happen, but it isn't based off any movement you're doing. It is based purely off luck. And there's another miss, third miss. You don't really need to worry about doing evasive maneuvers. If anything, if you're not worried about trying to kite using distance, you should just run into the mob to make sure that you can get more hits into it than it can into you. Because it is going to miss, but if you guarantee that you don't miss, most mobs don't have enough health if you have like even a moderate melee weapon that they will outlast you. However, you have to take into consideration things like lag. You can literally watch me lag here because I'm on a debug, so there's actual ping involved. Unfortunately, high ping in this game makes combat a lot less precise. I mean, really, combat in this game is always kind of gear-based anyway, so, like, knowing these skills isn't super important. Like, having the Captain Saber makes it a little bit more viable, like killing a carp versus your fist. Anyways, if you have to fight off a mob, say, the best weapon you could get is something like, I don't know, I'll just go grab this crowbar, which is a way worse weapon than a saber. Oh, I lost the fucking carp. Hold on. Okay, the carp will re-aggro on me. Having any melee weapon is better than your fist because of the range. You can still use the rule of max distance to get melee hits in, and no one's going to be perfect at this because it just is basically impossible to be perfect at this because of compensation with movement and lag and other elements. But I think the point and the principle still stands here, and I think hopefully this makes a little bit more sense of how to be a little bit more robust fighting AI and hopefully make you understand them a little bit better. I'm not covering ranged enemies because I really don't think there's much of a method to the madness of actually dodging them. You just kind of get hit by them if they feel like it, and there's not much you could do. The carps are not in the same faction as them, but hopefully this video is helpful. Maybe not the most precise video ever, but I don't want to show numbers all over the screen and code dive and all that shit. I'm just trying to show what's practical in the game as of right now. Anyways, thank you for watching.